Substituting tonight, Sophie Louis.
Hello and thank you for joining us. Tomorrow, as a global community, we will collectively mark the anniversary of one of the most traumatic and shocking days modern history has ever witnessed. But for others, it is today's anniversary that means just as much. Many remember September 10th, 2001 as the last day before the world and our lives changed forever. For those in New York City who survived the attacks, the debris has been cleaned up and tourists have come back. But their suffering, both emotional and physical, lingers on. Global National Weekend anchor Tara Nelson joins us now from New York, where acts of remembrance have already begun. Tara?
Well, Sophie, you can see the World Trade Center site behind me. This is usually a beehive of activity, but already this afternoon the focus has shifted to the anniversary of the day almost 2,800 innocent people lost their lives here. President Bush arriving in New York this afternoon for a wreath-laying ceremony at Ground Zero, one for each of the towers that fell. He's here tonight so that he can make it to both Pennsylvania and Washington for ceremonies tomorrow. He's also visiting the church closest to Ground Zero for a memorial for the first responders who lost their lives during the rescue efforts. And that is the same church that dozens of downtown residents gathered for a raucous town hall meeting the other night. As well as being the financial district, this is also a fairly densely populated residential area, and those residents say that they have been affected and neglected in the wake of 9/11. On a sunny September weekend, this is New York at rest. The power brokers and the deal makers relaxing at home in the shadow of the downtown core.
I call it the suburbs within New York City.
Kelly Colangelo lives just blocks from the financial district and Ground Zero. And she's paid heavily for her proximity to the action.
Opened the door and it was like it was snowing in there. You know, it's just like this suspended dust.
When the Twin Towers fell 5 years ago, Kelly was at work. But she'd left her windows open at home, and as the massive cloud of dust and debris billowed from the site, it swept into her apartment.
The window sills probably had a coating of about that thick, and then the sofas were right there, so the sofas had a pretty good coating, as well as the carpet. It was in all of the cabinets, all of the kitchen cabinets, all over, like light coating on all the food, everything.
That gritty veil was later revealed to be a toxic soup containing asbestos, lead, and benzene. When the Environmental Protection Agency claimed it was safe, tests on Kelly's dust showed hazardous levels, and she was getting sick.
We knew that this air was toxic.
And she wasn't alone. Her neighbors also suffering headaches, coughs, asthma, acid reflux, and chronic fatigue are demanding answers from the government.
It just seems strange that this many children are having problems with asthma on the east side.
Mount Sinai Hospital is monitoring 9/11 rescuers and confirms working at the site made them sick. Almost 70% have new or worsened respiratory symptoms, but no one is monitoring or treating residents.
It's not just a resource issue for tonight. It's not just a resource issue during this fifth year commemoration. It's a resource issue that will be with us for many years.
Kelly has now joined a lawsuit to fight for funding.
It's angering that nobody realized, and nobody's done anything about it.
She's also moved apartments, but only a few blocks. Even after 9/11, Lower Manhattan is home. There are 11 plaintiffs named in the residents' lawsuit so far, but that could go to thousands if it gains class action status. 8,000 first responders are involved in a lawsuit over their deteriorating health. This could take years to weave its way through the court system, though, and that's years the residents fear they'll spend getting sicker. Sophie?
Thanks, Tara. Tara Nelson live in New York tonight.